So the game 3 ended well in a way, again 2 out of 3. And then next up was Morozevich. And now Vishy had the black pieces. In general, what was your preparation technique against Morozevich? Because that guy, he's, to put it mildly, really an imaginative and a crazy player.
Quite. I would generally say that, for instance, playing against Morozevich, it's not like playing against Ivanchuk, but still, it should be very unpredictable. But I think actually this line that we happened in the game, we had prepared quite thoroughly for this game, or at least for this tournament. But I think we thought there was some chance that Morozevich would play it. Also, I think I've forgotten, but I think at this time Morozevich was working together with Kasimdzhanov, who would later become Vishy's second. And well, he had shown some interest in this line. So we decided to. Well, this is something we definitely prepared for the tournament. I remember very specifically. And no, you're right. Again, he's black, and I remember a funny quote from Bent Larsen, who wrote somewhere that said, "And in this game, I again had the advantage of the black pieces." And well, that's of course a joke. But if you look at the first 4 games, you can see Vishy gets fantastic attacking positions with black, and with white, well, he gets an ending, a pawn down. He has to scrape for a draw, right? So yeah.
He might be feeling really upbeat when he was having the black pieces.
Well, I think simply he just thought, okay, this is, today I'm going to get at least a playable, interesting position, while against the Petrov, I don't know what to do, right? So it's, of course, if white is cynical, he can block the game as well, but this you might do in matches, but in tournaments it's a bit more difficult. And I think, well, Morozevich, maybe, I forgot if he was 50% or -1, maybe he wanted to get back, but I think, well, yeah, Morozevich had some interesting idea he wanted to try, but I think the first 15 moves was quite common. At that point, I think after knight f3 was a move, and I think, well, they used to play knight f3, bishop e7, knight g5, and then Kasparov played this famous exchange sacrifice short castling against a computer program. I forgot if it was, never mind if it was Deep Shredder. Better take him c5 first, else it's gonna cost a piece. But this turned out to be great. And no, actually he played it maybe against Kasimdzhanov, but he prepared it for against the computer. And well, we knew that it existed, and I think we also sort of thought that meant that knight f5 would sort of be the critical move. And the common theory at that point gave quite a, good position for white. So we thought it was likely someone would try it, and I think we prepared the move g6. And if my memory is correct, which of course is a bit tricky here 10 years later, I think g6 might have been a novelty or something like this. And well, it was just typical for Vishy's preparation of black at that point. He was very positive. It was not the sort of Petrov like trying to exchange everything. He wanted to get complex playable positions, and well, it strikes me as very difficult these days, but at that point it sort of managed quite well. And well, also you have to take some risks to do this kind of stuff. And no, he was confident and playing extremely well. And I think also when you look at the game, it's clear that he managed to completely outplay Morozevich in the middle game.
Yeah, so getting such complicated positions these days with the black pieces is not as easy as it was in 2007, yeah?
It doesn't seem like it. Of course, you say it takes 2 to tango, right? So both have to go in this direction. But, well, maybe also at this time, with computers, you could analyze a lot of sharp positions, but you might not necessarily analyze them to death. While today, maybe actually the computer has become somewhat stronger, that you will almost get a solution. And, well, what is, by sight might be a complicated position, but you work at it for a couple of hours and it's completely dead, and you know the exact result. And, well, you see people have started to play the London, and even Kramnik, who was a very aggressive white player, he plays the London, he plays the Reti and stuff like this. So it's a completely different trend these days. So I guess there is quite some development there. But, well, if you look at this tournament, Vishy, at least in the beginning, got some very competitive and pretty good quality positions with black.
There's something about Vishy which I wanted to ask you, is that he never resorts to such openings like the London or something. Everyone's playing, but I haven't seen him trying it out. Why?
Well, he plays the Italian, for instance, which is, you can argue, the Italian is a bit of the London against in e4. Not quite, but still. And also, well, to be fair, Vishy has mainly been an e4 player. He was d4 player for a while, but he switched back to his normal weapon e4 and such. I think these days, well, you see him playing the Italian. He also plays bishop b5 check against the Sicilian, and I'm pretty sure when he was 20 or maybe even 30, he would consider that as not the way to do it. I think sort of chess understanding has developed a bit in this way, and I think especially, someone like Magnus playing it is normal. Magnus will play all kind of stuff, and he will try to outplay them. But when you see someone like Kramnik playing it, then he's actually playing it for an opening advantage, and this is quite. There is sort of trends at top level, and you can see that these days the trend is to play some small nuances at move 3 instead of finding a big novelty at move 25. And I think also, when Kasparov had his comeback, he played against Aronian. I think Aronian thought it's going to be funny. I'm going to play the London against this old guy, and he has absolutely no idea, because when he was playing, this was considered a complete joke. While now is the biggest sort of topic, right? So no, I think this is just there is some evolution, and Vichy has a bit missed out on when should he actually play the London? When he was a d4 player, it was kind of theoretical, and now he's back to e4 and such. But I'm pretty sure he could play it if he wanted to. Maybe he will now.
Okay, so this game ended in a draw, but there were some interesting moments.
Yeah, Vichy got very close to winning, and I think at some point there might even have been a force to win. And I think even again in the final position, you can say there was quite some disappointment, because if I remember correctly, the computers were giving Vichy a considerable edge, even when he sort of repeated moves in the end. And no, it's clear. I think I was reasonably disappointed that he chose to agree to a draw. But you can see this. You can have two theories about it. You can say that it's a sign of weakness. You get nervous. You don't want to sort of you lack the killer instinct, and then you sort of chicken out with a draw. You can also see it from the other perspective, that he thought the tournament is going extremely well. I'm on +1, and things are going well. I'm getting good positions at the opening, and I feel I'm playing well. Now I'm low on time, and things have gotten out of control. Am I really going to gamble everything on some time scramble here? There is a similar example when he plays, I think, game 2 against Kramnik in Bonn. He also gets a pleasant position in the opening, then it gets a bit out of control, but he's putting pressure. And then at some point he actually goes for a draw instead of... he had quite a considerable advantage, then he somehow gets away, and he could still push for a win, but he chooses to make a draw. And I think both times he thought he was in great shape, but simply decided, I'm not going to risk my good tournament by starting to gamble in the time pressure. Other players would definitely do it, and I think they could be right, but I think this is his style, and I'm saying you can see it as weakness in the sense of not wanting to, push maximum, or you can also see it as someone who's confident that I don't need a gamble here. I actually have things under control. If I just do things normal, it's going to go well. I don't need sort of random elements to ruin my tournament. And this one, there is strong arguments for playing on, but he didn't, and I think we never discussed it. I think he felt that it was quite a reasonable decision and such. So obvious with hindsight he was right, and I understand his reasoning. Even if I agree with it, I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, actually he did it in the candidates as well against Andrek in 2000.
Yeah.
When he was completely winning, but he took a draw, and he was fine with it because it meant that he was doing well in the tournament.
No, exactly. I think, you can of course calculate it just in terms of, a win is double amount of points than a draw, and a loss is half a point less. But you can also see it as, how is the tournament situation affected? And I think he thought things are going extremely well. So, but it's true, you come up with a good third example. He's not the person to gamble when he somehow has lost control. But I think also, we're talking about 3 tournaments that went extremely well for him. So I think when he's done it 3 times and it worked out each time, maybe to criticize it is not reasonable.